As brief a series as you'll see in the big leagues. In South Florida, the Marlins, the Diamondbacks played last night, day game after night game, and this is the finale of a brief two-game series. Arizona won last night by a score of 5-1. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The Marlins lost the ball game last night. That snapped their win streak, of course, after the sweep against the Mets. But the big story surrounded the all-star shortstop, Hanley Ramirez. And Tommy, as we go back and take a look at the video last night, it started when Hanley was at the plate early in the ball game.
You know, early on he fouled that ball off his foot or his ankle, but he said, hey, thumbs up, I'm okay. And then chasing down a ball, he appears to be running pretty well here. He inadvertently kicks the ball and then slowly saunters after the ball while two men score and another man goes to third base.
Freddie Gonzalez then and Ramirez meet between innings, and Ramirez lifted from the ball game. Last night after the ball game, Freddie Gonzalez said that he lifted Hanley for lack of effort. Before today's game, Hanley Ramirez met the press, and among other quotes, he had this to say about last night's situation. Hanley, talking about Freddie Gonzalez, said it's his team. He can do whatever he wants. We've got 24 more guys out there. Hopefully they can do the same thing that I can. Now, after Hanley met with the press, he and Freddie Gonzalez met. Gonzalez met with the press, and this is what Freddie said he and Hanley talked about. He said, he told Hanley that he thought Hanley needed to address his teammates before he got back into the lineup. He's not in the lineup in this game. Wes Helms, also out of the clubhouse, said he thought Hanley needed to address the teammates and apologize for last night.
You know, the thing of that quote that just doesn't hit right with me is when Hanley says, hopefully they can do the same things I can do. Well, you know what? They can't. Hanley Ramirez is a superstar. To me, that is lack of respect for his teammates, and I think he's shown lack of respect for the game of baseball, and that's all old guys like me want, respect for the game.
Now, Freddie Gonzalez did say in his meeting with the press that he hopes that this will be a positive, that Hanley will talk to his teammates, that there will be a dialogue in the clubhouse, and that this ball club will come out of it a better team and a closer team. Freddie and the Fish getting ready to take on Arizona in this one. And the good news for Freddie, Josh Johnson is on the mound.
Hey, there is a game to be played, and it is going to be J.J. pitching against Billy Buckner. J.J.'s 12-2 in day games, by the way, in his career.
Billy Buckner was just called up from AAA. He had good numbers in Reno, which is where Arizona's AAA affiliate is. It's Buckner, it's J.J., and Hanley is not in the lineup. We've got starting lineups, we've got ball game, all of that coming up this afternoon. The Marlins, oh yes! It's an email Tuesday afternoon. Diamondbacks with their ace, Josh Johnson, on the mound. Game 2 of this 2-game series. To start things, we go out to left field. Allison Williams. Hey, Allison.
Well, thank you, Rich. You know, you and Tommy do so much to add so much to this broadcast with your insight and analysis. Well, we thought it was time the technical aspect caught up. We saw for the first time in the series against the Mets, Fox Vision offering us those super slow-mo replays. Well, we've also seen all year Fox Tracks tracking all of the pitches that you can see. It's pretty amazing technology. It tracks the type, rotation, break, and where the ball crosses the plate. Here is a little bit more. You see Leo Nunez getting the batter with that high fastball, which Fox can track, but not always the batter. Here's a little bit more about how the technology works.
Our Fox Tracks graphics are powered by the Pitch Effects tracking system that's installed in every Major League ballpark. The system uses 3 cameras strategically placed to track each pitch. Unlike radar guns, which report the speed only once in the life of a pitch, the Pitch Effects system tracks the ball along its entire trajectory for a much more accurate and consistent speed calculation. With all of this new tracking information, we can now identify each pitch's type, rotation, break, and where it crosses the front of home plate. The Pitch Effects system is accurate to within 1 inch, or about 1/3 of a baseball. We take all of this information and turn it into our Fox Tracks graphic, a great tool to bring new insights to America's pastime.
Well, we have had a lot of emails about Fox Tracks, so hopefully that answers some of your questions. But keep them coming, everybody, because it is an Email Tuesday here on Fox Sports Florida. Marlins and the Diamondbacks getting set to square off. Rich and Tommy will take all your emails. Should be a fun one this afternoon. It's day baseball. Can't beat it.
Diamondbacks and Marlins ready to go this afternoon. The Diamondbacks at 16-23, winners last night by a score of 5-1. Edwin Jackson was dominant last night. And the Snakes with their lineup, they've got Mark Reynolds back in there. A.J. Hinch's order. Kelly Johnson at second. Connor Jackson at left. Stephen Drew, Justin Upton. Adam LaRoche, always a thorn in the Marlins side. Reynolds, of course, the slugger at third. Chris Young, a very good center fielder. Chris Snyder, their veteran, is back behind the plate. Billy Buckner, just up from AAA, is in the 9 spot.
Rich, I loved JJ's comments about pitching to this team, a team that does strike out a lot of swings and misses, but they also hit the home run ball. They're second in the National League in home runs. But JJ said, you know what, I'm going to make my pitches. And if he makes his pitches, it doesn't really matter what lineup he faces. He's had good command. His last couple of starts, Josh Johnson has not walked a batter. And remember, early on, that was a little bit of a problem. It wasn't allowing him to get deep into the games. But boy, his last time out against the Mets, 7 strong innings against Johan Santana, gave up just 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 7 strikeouts in that game. He did leave got a no decision. He's left 4 games. That game it was tied. He left 3 others with a lead and got no decision. So if JJ stays within his game plan, he'll have success against this Arizona team, which he's faced 3 times before.
So JJ gets Kelly Johnson, Connor Jackson, and Stephen Drew to open things up. 2-1 in those 3 starts against Arizona. 1-1 last year with a nice and tidy 2.08 ERA. And Johnson, who's having a huge year, 11 homers, 23 RBIs, swings through that breaking ball. And JJ's out in front 0-2. Johnson last night was 0 for 4. And he can't check his swing on a high fastball. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and 1 out.
3 dominating pitches, and he gets Kelly Johnson to commit to that high fastball.
Connor Jackson now. Jackson last night had a double, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Still looking for his first home run of the season. JJ gets a strike and it's quickly 0-1. The Diamondbacks are a team that, as we documented last night and have talked about on Marlins Live, they can score runs. They can hit home runs. You look at this lineup, with the year that Kelly Johnson is having, Upton, LaRoche, Reynolds, Young is back and productive. Stephen Drew is hitting over 300. This is a pretty good lineup offensively.
Well, it tells you one thing. When you know they're 3rd in the league in runs, but they come into this game 16-23, you know where the problems lie. The problems lie in the pitching and a lot of it in their bullpen.
Here's the 1-2. And that was one of the problems last night for the Marlins. They couldn't get into that bullpen because Edwin Jackson was absolutely stifling last night.
Hey, once they got into the bullpen, they scored a run off Aaron Heilman.
Jackson struck out 12 Marlins in 8 innings of work. 2-2 coming to Connor Jackson. Not an easy guy to strike out. Maben is back, and he's there, and he makes the catch. We should have Stephen Drew introduce the Marlins defense this afternoon.
Yeah, especially the outfield defense. We'll check it out this afternoon, and there it is with Coghlan, Maben, and Cody Ross around the infield. Brian Barden with the start, just his 3rd start this year. And Brett Hayes is the starting catcher handling Josh Johnson. Barden started the game at 2nd. He has started 1 other at short, and he's out there today.
Here's Drew, who must have thought to himself going to bed last night, you know, I felt great at the plate. It didn't feel like a 1-for-5 night, but it was. He hit the ball to center that Maben laid out and made a great catch on. He hit the ball to right that Ross laid out and made the great catch on. And then he lined out to short in his last at bat.
Yeah, that was almost the topper. It wasn't an exceptional play, just a routine line drive, but he hit that one hard, too.
And remember, his single in the 1st inning, which drove in a run, he got thrown out at 2nd, trying to stretch it to a double. Cameron Maben gunned him down. JJ's out in front 0-2, and he got a little out in front of himself. It's 1-2.
Let me just say this, though. It wasn't the most frustrating game in the Drew family, though, last night. J.D. Drew and his Red Sox did not fare well.
No, they lost a big lead in Yankee Stadium in a dramatic 9th inning comeback by the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez and Marcus Thames, both with the 2-run homers. Here's a 1-2 coming. That would be strike 3, and that would be a 1-2-3 first. A good start for Josh Johnson. Marlins get their first swings when we get back.
Charlie.
Here's the Marlins lineup. Fish a game over 500. Chris Coghlan is hot. He was 2 for 4 last night. Cameron Maben right behind him in center. Dan Uggla's going to hit in the 3 spot. Cantu hits cleanup. Cody Ross, look at the streak that he's on right now. Gabby Sanchez at first. Fred Hayes behind the plate. Brian Barden's out at shortstop. JJ hits 9th. And there's a look at Billy Buckner.
Now, you talked about the fact that Buckner just called up from AAA. He has had some big league time, but he's never faced the Marlins before. His big league time coming with Kansas City.
And he's had a spell up with Arizona as well.
Big 12-6 curveball. If he's getting that over, he's a little more effective. He's not an overpowering type guy.
He's been experimenting with a cutter. Does throw that fastball. Coghlan 2 for 4 last night. Chris lines one into right center field. That's deep. Young going back. Young reaching up. And he makes the catch on the warning track. Coghlan gave it a ride. And there's 1 out.
Boy, for a second I thought Chris Young might have taken a poor route, but he caught up to it. Connor Jackson, Young and Upton. Young and Upton cover a lot of ground out there. Mark Reynolds back in the lineup for the D-backs. Drew Johnson and LaRoche around the infield. Former Atlanta Braves right side. And Chris Snyder, their regular catcher, missed 3 months of the season last year with back surgery. Snyder behind the plate.
Here's Maben now. He was 0 for 3 last night. And Buckner misses up and in. Maben hitting second, and Gabby Sanchez hitting 6th in this lineup. There's the changeup, and a strike. It's 1-1. Buckner at the University of South Carolina. Went to the College World Series with the Gamecocks. Drafted by the Royals in the 2nd round back in 2004. And came to Arizona in the Alberto Callaspo trade in 2008.
I think you've seen a couple of examples of his curveball. And a changeup. Early on, especially if guys haven't seen Buckner and not many histories against him, you try to get a feel for what he has and what might be working for him. And that changeup fooled Cameron Maben.
What he has and when he has it. When will he throw that changeup? Both of the swinging strikes to Maben in this at-bat have been changeups. It counts now 3-2. There's a fastball. Cameron gets a piece of it. The Diamondbacks arrived here scuffling. They had lost 8 of 9, but they had surprised a lot of people out of the gates by being right around 500 until that streak. They were swept at home by the Dodgers in Milwaukee and dropped 2 of 3 in Atlanta. And of course the Marlins swept the Mets in a 4-game series prior to last night's ball game. All 3 strikes against Maben were on changeups.
That's funny, and you always kind of worry about it when you have 2 teams going in different directions before they collide. Here's the scouting report. No, not that one. Not the Bill Buckner of Red Sox fame. He's a standout. He was for South Carolina. And change of speeds. We've seen that already.
Here's Uggla now. Danny takes a breaking ball. Uggla was 0 for 4 last night. 9 home runs. 3 of them came in the Mets series. Buckner going right after him. It's 0-2. Uggla hitting in Hanley's spot, and if you've just joined us, Hanley Ramirez is not in the lineup. Up the middle into center field. Sounded like it got a piece of Buckner as it went through the box.
Yeah, and it looked like it too, because Dan Uggla stung that ball. You would have expected it to get into center field faster. But yeah, it did clip him on the glove, slowed it up enough that Kelly Johnson almost got to it, the second baseman. But Uggla with a 2-out single.
Now Cantu. Jorge had a couple hits last night, including a double. $11 doubles now on the season for Cantu. Buckner likes throwing that changeup. He has shown it an awful lot here in the first inning.
I think if you have a decent changeup, it is certainly a pitch that when you go over the Marlins hitters is an effective pitch.
I think it's an effective pitch against both of these lineups. Very similar, young, aggressive teams. The Diamondbacks and Marlins have been at the top of the list in strikeouts every season for the last 3 years.
Yeah, we saw J.J. throw a good changeup during that game against the Mets. He didn't have to break it out in the first inning. He just threw mostly fastballs.
Cantu sends it out to right. Upton is out there today, and he makes the catch. Marlins go down in the first. We've played one. Emails. Ask the Marlins at fox.com. Scoreless ball game. Josh Johnson goes to work in the second on an email Tuesday afternoon. Ask the Marlins at fox.com. Aren't many hot topics to talk about, but we'll try to find something to discuss.
I wish we had something to talk about, Rich.
Here's the pitch to Upton. He swings and misses at a breaking ball from J.J. Upton, LaRoche, and Reynolds against J.J., who had 2 strikeouts in the first.
Yeah, a lot of fastballs, and he started Upton with a good slider.
J.J. misses off the plate. Here is the ceremonial first email, and it obviously pertains to last night. It's from Marcus in Miami. Tommy, what happened with Hanley last night, was it common during your playing days? And did that ever happen with manager removing player from a lineup? How often does that happen in the game today?
It happened. I mean, it's not like it did not happen in the 60s and 70s.
There's a liner into right field. Ross comes on, and it lands in front of him.
I think there was a little more remorse, though, when it happened back then because of your respect for the game, the way you were brought up in the game. But there's no question it's always happened in the game. And yes, we talked about Bobby Cox taking Andrew Jones out of a lineup. Charlie Manuel last year taking Jimmy Rollins out of the lineup.
Adam LaRoche stands in. So Upton's at first with a base hit. LaRoche takes a fastball for a strike. In fact, when Freddie met with the media this morning, the topic of Jimmy Rollins came up. Rollins, on a couple of occasions, was removed for not running out ground balls or pop flies by his manager Charlie Manuel, and in both cases, Rollins, a day after the event, admitted that Charlie was right. And I think Freddie is hoping that for Hanley Ramirez there can be a similar finish to this story. Not necessarily that Hanley comes out and says, right away that Freddie was right. I think what he's hoping, and what Freddie said to the media and what Freddie said to Hanley before the game, is that he feels that Hanley needs to address his teammates over what happened last night. And whether Hanley does that or not is up to Hanley. Wes Helms also reiterated that today in the press, saying that he felt Hanley needed to speak with his teammates, and in the clubhouse about what happened last night. LaRoche at the plate, counts 1-1, and he pops this pitch up. Cantu going back, and Jorge is there and makes the catch in foul territory.
Number 27,
Here comes Reynolds. And Mark Reynolds is certainly someone you have to be careful with in the Diamondbacks lineup. In this stadium last year, he had an enormous series against the Fish. Runner goes. Hayes' throw is off the bag. And Justin Upton swipes second base. 7th stolen base of the season for the speedy right fielder.
Decent jump. He takes a peek just to see what's going to happen. Hard straight on slide and just ahead of the throw. Yeah, Reynolds was 6 for 12 in that series with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases.
And he's kind of off to his old tricks this year. He's already clubbed 10 homers and driven in 30 runs. Last year, 44 homers and 102 runs driven in. And of course, he set a major league record with 223 strikeouts. He did walk 76 times. His on-base percentage right around 350.
And he's kind of a combination. We talked about the stolen bases. He had 24 on the year last year. So with all the power numbers, also threw in 24 steals.
Patty and Craig want to know, they're watching the ball game, is Hanley sitting in the dugout today watching his teammates play? I think we just saw him in the dugout. And the Marlins did take batting practice today. Hanley did not hit, but he was in the outfield shagging with his teammates. Reynolds out of the University of Virginia and a college teammate of Ryan Zimmerman. What a great left side of the infield that must have been with Zimmerman and Reynolds. And JJ punches him out with a good fastball. Family Sunday, when the Marlins are back home, is against the Phillies on the 30th. The first 5,000 kids get a Dan Uggla poster, and all kids can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. 1-877-MARLINS or visit marlins.com.
Yeah, Sunday, May 30th, and then a Monday day game, Memorial Day, against the Brewers.
There's Hanley Ramirez in the dugout. And JJ elevates the fastball. It's 1-1 on Chris Young. Young is another guy that is prone to strikeouts, but he seemingly has turned the corner after a slump of a season last year. Went down to the minors, rebuilt his swing, and has been up around 300 most of this season.
Yeah, this is the best start he's ever had. in his career.
He had quite the rookie year in 2007. There's Upton. A single and a stolen base. 2-1 coming. JJ's slider is swung on and missed. Last time he was on the mound, an epic duel with Johan Santana.
Well, we've seen upper 80 sliders and 96 on the fastball.
Those two went at each other. JJ went 7 innings, gave up a run on 3 hits. Neither figured in the decision. Remember, that was the ball game that the Marlins won on the Fernando Nieve wild pitch in the 9th inning. JJ punched out 7 on 95 pitches.
Santana pitching tonight in Atlanta against the Braves.
Fastball fouled back. Jonathan from Coconut Creek. Tommy Hutton, have you ever been ejected or taken out of a game?
No.
You weren't even ejected?
I might have got thrown out of one game, yeah. Yelling at an umpire from the bench, I think.
you weren't even in the game and you got
I know
tossed.
you find that hard to believe, me snapping and yelling at an umpire.
Barton tosses across the diamond. We have more emails when we get back. Scoreless ball game. To go in inning number 2. Cody Ross, Gabby Sanchez, Brent Hayes. On a Tuesday afternoon. Normally it's a Tuesday night. We have emails, but hey, afternoon game getaway day. Ball club's going to St. Louis, so it's an email Tuesday afternoon. And here is Cody Ross, maybe the Marlins' hottest hitter over the last couple of ball games. 6 for his last 7. 7 for his last 9 at the plate.
Boy, he took a 95-mile-an-hour Edwin Jackson heater and then lays out to make a terrific catch in right field. And he also had himself a 2-hit night. RBI on that base hit. Well, Cody Ross has gotten his average over 300 right now, 305.
Big curveball from Buckner as a strike. The Diamondbacks are hoping to solidify their rotation in a division that has some pretty good starting pitching. Cody in the center field. Stay hot. 7 for his last 8. 8 for his last 10.
Well, when you're hot, you take that pitch and you take it right back up the middle. When you're not swinging the bat well, look at Fox Vision the hands stay down on the ball. That top hand doesn't roll over until he follows through with the swing.
Here's Gabby now. Sanchez had his hitting streak stopped last night at 6 games, and he takes a fastball from Buckner for a strike.
Yeah, Gabby with a nice home stand. Of course, most of that damage against the Mets.
And a strike, an email from Sanibel in Miami. Here I am thinking I could watch the Marlins and won't have to revisit last night's Red Sox game. And you had to mention Bill Buckner, too. Thanks, guys.
Well, we have to mention Billy Buckner. That's his name.
0-2 coming to Gabby Sanchez. Goes after a high fastball. And it's in the seats. Sanibel's question is, if I remember correctly, Ugla and Hanley got into it last year over a similar issue. What gives? Well, it was last year in early September, and Hanley, in a ball game, had aggravated, I believe it was a quadricep injury, and asked out of the game in the 3rd inning. 0-2 pitch coming. That one's fouled back. And the next night was not in the lineup as well. And Ugla, who is a good friend of Hanley's and lockers next to Hanley, Ugla and Hanley got into a spat. Ugla's point was, we need you in the lineup. And Hanley's point was, I'm hurt, I can't play. And Freddie called them both into his office. And Hanley was in the lineup the next night. And the two patched it up. And the Marlins, of course, went on to win 87 games.
And if you remember, Hanley went on quite a tear, I believe, after that.
And I don't speak for the clubhouse, but it appeared as though Ugla had 23 guys behind him when he said that to Hanley last year. Gabby hooks one. Reynolds kicks it, and everyone is safe. I think it's going to be a base hit. Reynolds, I'm sure, was thinking about getting the ball and getting to second base. As it was, he gets no one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it should be a base hit. Certainly a tough play, and it is a base hit for Gabby Sanchez. Reynolds is thinking too, and once it trickles out to Drew, he doesn't have a play at second or at first. I think the other thing to take out of all this is with Freddie doing what he did, and I think every Major League manager would certainly agree with what he did. He's lost Hanley right now. Hopefully he can get him back. But he's gained the other 24 guys, gained their respect tremendously.
There was a comment that Hanley made before Freddie and Hanley had a brief meeting this morning. Hanley indicating that Freddie wouldn't know what it would feel like to play hurt in the big leagues because he had never played in the big leagues, which I found odd coming from someone who plays for the Florida Marlins, because the two managers that have managed the Marlins to world championships, Jim Leland and Jack McKeon, never played in the big leagues either.
No, and at my recall, I don't think Hanley's ever managed in the big leagues either.
Hayes got jammed, and he pops it up out to second. And Johnson is out there to make the catch.
Bottom line, Rich, it's a tough situation. It's a situation that I think we've dealt with properly. The ball's in Hanley's court right now, and hopefully things turn out for the best.
And that was the theme of Freddie's press conference after he talked about the mechanics of last night and this morning. Freddie also said that he is hoping that this will resolve itself and then Hanley and the clubhouse will be able to come together and have some sort of a discussion, and that the Marlins will emerge as a closer team and as a better team after this. Here's Barden now, and it's Barden who gets the start at shortstop. And remember, Barden is playing with a sore ankle. He injured the ankle in the Mets series late in a ball game when he was at third base, and he slid into the wall trying to catch a pop-up.
Yeah, he did that kind of pop-up slide, but on this hard rubberized turf, he jammed it into that wall. Everybody out there during the course of 162 games plays games when they're not feeling 100%.
It's a big at bat in this inning. You got JJ on deck. Barden with the count 1-1. It's got to be exciting for Barden to go back to St. Louis tomorrow night for the two-game series. He opened the year last year at third base for the Cardinals. Rawson Sanchez out there with one out. Runners go. A little hit and run. A swing and a miss. And the Marlins gamble. Cody is caught stealing. Sanchez is at second. And there are two outs.
Well, the whole key here is to try to make contact. He does not make contact on the fastball. If you just make contact, even if you foul it off, you protect the runners. The runner isn't trying to get the greatest of jumps and steal. He's just trying to be on the move. Freddie trying to get something going because of the part of the lineup this whole inning is in right now.
And you've got Chris Snyder behind the plate, who is an outstanding catch and throw guy. Breaking ball in the dirt. Barden strikes out. Snyder will toss it down to first. And a promising inning fizzles out for the Fish in the second. It is a scoreless ball game. Marlins and Diamondbacks. If you listen to radio in the morning, you hear this guy, one of the highest rated shows in South Florida.
I haven't seen the ratings in a while, but I think I'll go ahead and take that. Thank you.
From Paul and young Ron.
They've been sending the ratings to us every night.
That's the only reason I'm in here.
Paul Castronovo has joined us here for this half inning, and you've been all around the ballpark and done a lot of things already today.
I did a little PA announcing, and apparently we got in a little bit of trouble.
a little bit of trouble.
They are not giving away Winnebago's next Thursday night to the first 10,000 fans.
That's because we're on the road.
Okay, good. That was it. And it's not free chicken night on Thursday. Meanwhile, when is the roof going over this thing?
It's not. We're building a new one down by the Orange Bowl.
I'm well aware, and I've seen the footage. It looks fantastic, but I mean, not a minute too soon.
All right, now, contractually, you are required to call some play-by-play here in this half inning.
Yeah, that's a problem. The problem being, I don't know anything about the Diamondbacks. Now, being a big Marlin fan, we're okay there. Here's the pitch, low and inside.
And you got the catcher up there, Chris Snyder. You have their pitcher on deck.
Now, their pitcher, Buckner.
Billy Buckner.
Yeah, his Major League debut, I believe. There's a shot.
Into left, Coughlin. There he goes. All right, now I'm just going to give it to you. So you got two batters here. Have a good time. It's Billy Buckner and then Kelly Johnson.
Then you got Rich, we'll see you. Get out of here.
Can you hold my hand, Rich?
No, I'll let you go.
Can I hold yours?
Here's the deal. I'll give you my Diamondback cheat sheet. How's that?
Real nice. So Bill Buckner coming to the plate. This will be the pitcher. Not only is it his Major League debut on the mound, but is this his first at bat? I was walking around the stadium.
Yeah, he's had some games in the major leagues, but his first outing against the Marlins ever. So I like the tone of the Paul and Young Hutt show right now.
The word young.
We've gotten rid of Rich.
We got rid of Rich. I'll get rid of Brewer. And where's it? Now, as I played a couple of years for the Mets back in the 60s. And, no, a kid. How nervous is this guy right now, Tommy?
Hey, he's not. He's a professional player. The only thing that's going to make him nervous is Josh Johnson throwing 96 miles an hour right in that area.
That would make it. I'm nervous up here watching Josh, the big man.
This was something, by the way, that was very effective last night for Edwin Jackson, pitcher with the Diamondbacks. He came up and in a few times and had a tough slider away.
This ought to put him away. And
hey, we had a chance to check out your partner throwing out the first pitch. Check this out. Give us a play-by-play of this.
Last year, Ron threw his hip out in this, but you can see the old man trying to get in shape here. And he bounces it into Billy. That's as embarrassing as anything has ever been for my show and myself. At least the last time I threw it out, I hit Billy the Marlin in the head.
And seriously, how long had he been practicing for that?
He said he's been throwing it with his kid for 2 weeks. I should have had him stand in front of the mound.
Okay, Kelly Johnson we have.
Yeah, he's 0 for 1. Struck out in the first inning. See how he does against the big man. Now, in television, I don't have to say fouled away.
No, you don't have to say fouled away. You can continue a conversation, maybe let it breathe a little bit during a pitch.
I never realized you did the entire broadcast in your underwear. That's a first for me, Tommy Hutton. It's a wee bit of a shock.
Well, on a warm afternoon game, sometimes you do what's necessary.
I'd like to join you in the next half of the inning. Inside, there's a strike. This ought to be over soon. The pain should be over soon,
well,
folks.
2 outs, he's got a 1-2 pitch.
A little bit inside.
Now, could you tell what pitch that was as you watched the monitor?
I was watching the play itself, but I was not watching the monitor. And we talked about people texting. All my friends are texting me right now. And they're not saying complimentary things, Tommy.
That's why your backside's vibrating.
You always say that to me. And I don't even know if that's appropriate for the broadcast.
Good crowd today. You guys had a lot to do with this, didn't you?
We did. We did $10 tickets. It's we've been on the radio 20 years. I think we told you that this morning. And,
yeah.
The Marlins, we put this together last year. I think we got a nice little crowd for an afternoon game. $10 tickets. How do you beat that for the infield box?
It's a great day. Baseball's still the best deal in any city for professional sport.
Fans none too thrilled with that call.
Now the inning's extended with the walk to Kelly Johnson.
Tough one to give away. We really didn't need to because we had him on the ropes, but it gives me an extra couple of seconds up here with you, Tommy, and I got to tell you, it's a thrill of a lifetime. And all joking aside, I grew up watching the Mets in the 60s. And
like you said, you listened to Bob Murphy and
Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, and the guys, and just to sit in the booth is just a real treat, and my father's so proud right now, so thank you.
Hey, when are you going to have, as Connor Jackson steps in, when are you going to have Rich on your show?
Well, I'm going to have the two of you guys in ASAP, as soon as you guys get back for the next road trip. Which, by the way, would be I know it's got to be tough, but you get to go to these cool Major League Baseball cities and go to all the great ballparks, stay in lavish hotels. Buffets. What do you got, Tommy? What's the lifestyle like? And the girls are throwing themselves at you on the road. I'm sure. Groupies, sure. You guys have been dancing around the Hanley story. I ran into him in the clubhouse, and he punched me in the face. So he needs to cool off a little bit.
I'm not so sure we've been dancing around it.
No. I know you've talked about it.
We have.
Wide open, yeah. They told me not to say anything about it.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, I bring it right up.
This, by the way, is an inning that the walk hurts Josh Johnson, with Kelly Johnson over there looking like he's going to steal. But it hurts him because that pitch count starts to get up there. And
especially
a warm day,
this heat. Yep.
Yeah, warm day. And then that keeps him from maybe taking it into the 7th or 8th inning.
When did Major League Baseball go to the middle relievers and the closers? Because, I mean, for so many years, these guys, they pitched 9 innings to 10, 12 innings. It didn't matter.
Yeah, and there were closers back in the 70s, but they pitched 2-3 innings sometimes.
Right.
They came in to pitch a game.
So those old-timers, they look at these guys today, they just hate it. It drives them nuts, don't they? That's not baseball.
Pitch 6 innings and they make more money. That's what they say.
Very true. Let's see if we can get them a quick little out here.
One thing we've seen the Diamondbacks do, we saw it last year, and they've done it in this series. They run, and they're not afraid to run. Former Marlins third base coach Bo Porter, coaching at third for Arizona.
I was going to say that a minute ago, Tommy. I just was
I'm
say
sorry,
that.
I jumped on you.
You know, I'm trying to do the. We're in the third with 2 outs. Now he's starting to make me sweat. As hot as it is standing up here with the wind blowing on us, on the field, it's absolutely brutal. Even though we're getting a break here with a little cloud cover, it is tough this time.
And we've not gotten into the heat of summer yet either.
I know. Well, they're saying it's supposed to be throughout the 90s all week long, so it's not going to be easy.
Let's see. I'll let you anticipate with 2 out, 3-1 pitch if Kelly Johnson runs.
Why wouldn't you? What are you calling here?
I think he's going.
Yeah. And he makes the move. Swing and a miss. He's out. He's out of there. Oh, safe, and a horrible call. Blue. Yeah, and the fans are not reacting well. It looked to me, from our vantage point, Tommy, let's take a look at the replay.
Well, we have the opportunity. The umpire doesn't have that opportunity. Good fastball. Good throw by Brett Hayes. And there's the tag.
He was so out.
He got him up top. It was a kind of an unusual sweep. He misses, but he gets him up top before that back foot hits the bag.
And this is where baseball could use replay, but we don't want it.
He misses here with the tag. Then gets him on the top side.
Now that's got to rattle you a little bit if you're Josh Johnson.
That's the young umpire at second base who made his Major League debut last night.
We'll be calling his hotel room tomorrow morning and waking him up real early on the Paul and Young Round Show, giving him a little attaboy.
Young umpire Manuel Gonzalez, first ever umpire at the Major League level from Venezuela.
And he blew his first call. Congratulations. That breaks my heart, because I really wanted to be out of here. Now Johnson's struggling to find the corner.
Yeah, now you have a tough hitter up there in Stephen Drew. God, I've never missed Rich so badly.
This is the kind of thing, Rich, and I know Rich is standing by, that you realize management realizes your wealth to the team. When you hear a rookie in here like me doing this, there's a shot. But I think this ought to wrap it up. So, at the end of 3, it's the Marlins nothing and Arizona nothing. Back to you, Tommy, and Rich. Thank you so much for listening.
Paul, thanks a lot. Enjoyed it.
That was fun.
season ticket holder in 2010. Enjoy the best savings and benefits in the majors. Choose from a variety of plans starting at just $85. Seat selection of the new Marlins ballpark will begin this season for current season ticket holders. 1-877 Marlins baseball. Welcome back, Sun Life Stadium. Josh Johnson, first AB of the day for JJ. Marlins and Diamondbacks are scoreless. Marlins have 3 hits against Billy Buckner, but nothing to show for it. Now, so did I overhear that he let loose with your secret of doing games in your underwear? Is that?
Yeah, I didn't think that'd ever get out.
We've already got 3 or 4 emails wanting to know.
Because I know you signed that confidentiality.
Boxers or briefs? That's the popular email on Email Tuesday right now. JJ, they count 1-1.
Hey, there's some good numbers on JJ and some bad numbers. He has tremendous stuff. I think we've seen that with the fastball and the sliders, but he's up to 56 pitches in just 3 innings. 24 last inning.
Billy Buckner, meanwhile, is at 35 pitches as he starts the bottom of the third. 2-2. JJ drives it to center, and Chris Young's out there. He makes the catch. 1 out here in the third. Chris Coughlin, Cameron Maben will follow here in the 3rd inning. Have we done enough Hanley emails for the
time being?
For the time being?
For the time being. I think we've said what we are able to say, what we can. We say whatever we want to say, but you don't want to beat it. You can't beat it down.
Well, and that's
said enough.
I think that was Freddie's point as well. Is that hey, got a game to play.
Got a game to play. Hanley's in the dugout. Ball's in his court. He's got to make the move.
Coughlin takes a strike. Will from Gainesville wants to know why the Marlins never wear throwback jerseys. Saw the Brewers and Phillies the other night, and he's jealous that the Marlins don't break out the old throwbacks.
It's a possibility. They could bring out the old teal, the old sleeveless teal.
It would be hard to do throwbacks with I guess, the Diamondbacks have had a whole color change as well. Remember, they were purple and blue, and they were a variety of colors.
They had that odd color. I forget what it was called. It was...
This color is Sedona red in the Arizona scheme of things.
But they've had a few changes, yeah.
So throwback jerseys between these two teams probably doesn't have the same impact as that Brewers-Phillies game where you had Harvey Wallbangers going against those baby blue Philly jerseys from the 70s.
Yeah, the old Charlie Huff. You could have Charlie come out and throw out the first pitch. It would probably be a knuckleball.
It would probably be called a strike.
By Frank Pulley, as it was in 1993 against the Dodgers.
They did not have pitch tracks back then because that pitch was outside. But what are you going to do? Stadium full of people, first pitch in team history, borderline pitch, hey, it's a strike. Maben takes down low. Hanley watching. Available to pinch hit, that was still in question. As
I would say he would have to be. If you're going to totally disrespect everything, then you say, no, I'm not available to pinch hit. But I would say he is.
Upton comes in. And he's there and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. Billy Buckner is cruising here this afternoon. Since 2008, the Marlins' winning percentage in day games after night games is better than the Major League average. Fisher 4-5 this season. On an email Tuesday afternoon, the Diamondbacks trying for a 2-game series sweep. Justin Upton singled and stole the base back in the second. Diamondbacks have stolen 2 bases in this one. JJ needs a quick pitch inning, so this is a tough part of the lineup to do it against. You got Upton, LaRoche, and Mark Reynolds. That one fouled at the plate. Cody from Naples has a pitching question. In your guys' opinions, will we ever see another 300-game winner anytime soon? And what about JJ? Could he get there in his career?
No, I don't think we'll see another 300-game winner, and most of that is because the 300-game winners that there are now were guys that worked in 4-man rotations, and they would get 38, 40 starts a year, and now pitchers get 30 to 32 starts a year. They would also stay in games longer and have more opportunities to win games.
AT&T trivia time. Bring on the phone. Let's flip it. There's Gibby. Kirk Gibson was drafted by Major League Baseball and the NFL. Which football team drafted him? Of course, he was a Michigan State star.
Well, the Lions could use him now, actually.
They could have used him then. Is that team still in that city? That team is still in that city. The NFL team that drafted him. Oh,
so you were thinking of somebody that maybe moved.
Actually, we just they retracted that statement, and the truck just said no.
Who retracted? Our crack staff?
Our crack staff. Apparently cracked under the pressure. LaRoche gets hit. Josh with a slider that came in and got him on the back leg. They call that a back leg slider, and that's one of the reasons why.
Well, you try to drop that slider, a right-handed pitcher, down and in to the lefty, but not that far in. It's a pitch that you can maybe get a left-hander to chase and swing at, but that one just got away.
By the way, the emailer asking about 300-game winners. The current leader in terms of wins is Jamie Moyer. I believe he's at 263 wins now and having another terrific year. Next on that list is Andy Pettit, 234. And you can go down even further. Pedro Martinez, who I don't think has announced his retirement, is at 219. I think the bar for the Hall of Fame will be lowered for the era of pitchers that comes through in the last 10, 15, 20 years, simply because of steroids, because of smaller ballparks, smaller strike zone.
Tougher to pitch.
Absolutely. So a guy like Pedro Martinez, who has 219 wins, who was dominant in his career, he does not need to get to the 300 win level, which to me was always kind of an arbitrary number that many felt if you get there, you're automatically in the Hall of Fame, like 3,000 hits. Why is a guy better who gets to 300 wins instead of a guy that has 295 wins?
Or in the case of Burt Blyleven, what does Burt have, 287? Jim Cott, over 280, 283 at the...
But would you agree that, so for a modern-day pitcher, say Josh Johnson has a terrific career and ends up winning 230, 240 games, but has a career ERA in the mid-threes in this era. That good enough to get into the Hall of Fame?
Certainly has to be, and down the road, you would certainly consider that. A guy who just retired, Mike Mussina, up there in wins. And pitched. The case for Mussina
270 wins.
270 wins. He always pitched in the American League East.
And he had a 3.68 ERA. He pitched a lot of his games in one of the tiniest hitters' parks in Baltimore. J.J. rings up Reynolds for the second time. Mark Reynolds was ill last night, and he has struck out twice. Toyota Fox Tracks tells you this ball was just outside.
Reynolds will really be ill if he sees that. Oh, yeah, Messina has a pretty good case.
Chris Young takes a strike. Chris Young bounced out back in the second. Arizona has just one hit in this ball game. It was the single by Upton. It's one of the things that happens sometimes, Tommy, when you face a swing and miss team, a lot of strikeouts. It takes a lot of pitches to get through the inning.
Yeah, you're not going to be a lot of first pitch, ground ball outs. These guys are swinging from their heels from the very beginning.
Out into right. Cody is there, and he makes the catch. And J.J. has smooth sailing in the fourth. Bottom of the fourth coming up. We are scoreless. Rethink possible. Scoreless in South Florida. In the bottom of the fourth, we check in with Allison Williams. Hey, Allison.
Hey, guys. Arizona has Billy Buckner on the mound, not to be confused with and not related to Bill Buckner, major leaguer, played 21 years in the big leagues, but most remembered for this Game 6, the 1986 World Series. Boston had a 3-2 series lead, but that grounder gets by Buckner at first. Mets go on to score the winning run. They end up winning the series in Game 7. Guys, it's just not fair. Over 2,700 hits, and the guy gets remembered for that play. It's not a fair game, I'll tell you what.
Billy Buckner throws a strike. Bill Buckner was a terrific major league player.
I totally agree, and I had the opportunity for a couple of years in the minor leagues as we were coming up in the Dodger organization to play with Bill Buckner. One of the most hard-nosed players I ever saw. I saw him play a month stretch of games with his jaw wired. and he had to drink all of his meals because he ran into Bobby Valentine in a collision.
That 0-2 pitch is up. I thought you were about to say he ran into Bobby Valentine in a team function or something to that effect.
Yeah, the other thing people forget, 102 RBIs in that season for the Red Sox. If not for Bill Buckner, they're not even there.
Here's the 1-2. Uggla takes up. Uggla Cantu Ross against Buckner. The Marlins have 3 hits, all singles. Uggla lined one off of Buckner's glove and into center field. And pulls one foul. Brett in Hollywood has this email. If and when Mike Stanton is called up, what will his role be? Will he come off the bench? Who would he replace in the outfield? What position will he play?
Well, I don't think the organization would call him up and sit him on the bench.
Oh, that's a nasty breaking ball by Buckner.
I think once Mike Stanton gets here, he's going to be in the lineup every day. But, you know, we talk about this game, how it can humble you. It wasn't too long ago Mike Stanton hit his 15th home run for Jacksonville and was hitting .350. Batting average is down around .310, and he still has 15 home runs, so he's hit a little slow spell at the AA level.
Cantu line to right.
And your next question is, okay, where does he play? He probably plays right field, but then what do you do? Cody Ross is in right field. Do you take Cody out of the lineup? Or do you move Cody to center? Do you take Maben out of the lineup? So there's some decisions that have to be made once that decision is made to bring him up.
Cantu went after the 2-0 pitch and fouls it off. Lester in Coral Springs watched Marlins Live, the segment on Fox Tracks, and says it didn't say anything on how they calculate the top and bottom of the strike zone. Isn't it theoretically different for every player? For instance, a 5'6" batter like Alfredo Amezaga would have a much smaller top to bottom than a 6'6" batter. And it's a good point, and it's true. The Fox Tracks computers set the inside and outside target box. There's Cantu into center field. And then my producer will correct me if I'm wrong, but from that point, isn't there a strike zone generated for each player depending on their size from the top and the bottom of the zone?
Yeah, it does adjust. It's amazing how computers are, just like how a computer will shut down just when you need to do some work.
When each batter comes to the plate, it adjusts to that batter and his own personal strike zone. So, like, Alfredo Amezaga could probably climb inside and hide in Richie Sexton's Fox Tracks box.
Right now, Alfredo Amezaga just trying to get that knee healthy and hopefully get back to the big leagues.
Ross fouls it back. Larry from Boca wants to know, since JJ hit LaRoche, should the Marlins expect retaliation? And the simple answer to that is, when you throw at a player, you don't throw a slider.
No.
The breaking ball that JJ threw to LaRoche was not intended to hit him, and so there would be no retaliation.
And when you've thrown a lot of pitches, which JJ has, there's no reason at all to try to extend an inning and hit a guy purposely.
So no, there would be no retaliation expected. Tommy may retaliate, though, for the appearance of Paul from the Paul and Young Ron show. I also heard...
Boy, I missed you, Rich.
I also heard him revealing your secrets about buffets on the road.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where he thinks we stay. I mean, you're usually on the concierge floor with all the free buffets and cocktail hour.
Counts 1-2 to Cody Ross. Ross singled in the second. It's a foul ball. Speaking of road trips
and buffets.
Oh, there'll be a nice one waiting for us in St. Louis. That new ballpark in St. Louis. We won't be there long, not even 36 hours, and then we'll head out to U.S. Cellular Field on the south side of Chicago for a 3-game weekend series against the White Sox.
It's always fun to see former Marlins. Of course, we'll see Ozzie Guillen. We'll see Juan Pierre. We'll see Mark Kotze with the White Sox.
That's a veteran team in Chicago. Two and two. Billy Buckner is 26. Did 7 games with the Royals in 2007. Parts of 08, 09 with the Diamondbacks, and called up to fill a rotation that has been hurt by injuries. Brandon Webb still out.
Yeah, he was their minor league pitcher of the year last year with that 9-3 record at Reno, AAA. Not an easy ballpark to pitch in.
Full count. There's Gabby. Cantu's at first. Now the Marlins had a runner thrown out at third base back in the second on a hit and run.
Yeah, this is where the Marlins don't really have a lot of good ingredients to run. Jorge Cantu does not run that well. Cody Ross susceptible to striking out. And that's why you don't run. You know, people will say sometimes, how come Freddie doesn't run these guys? Well, you have to have the right ingredients, and that wasn't a good ingredient there, and he held Cantu.
All right, let's do the Gibby thing, our AT&T trivia answer. Kirk Gibson was drafted by a major league team and an NFL team. He was a great wide receiver at Michigan State. And that NFL team, the St. Louis Cardinals, who are now in Arizona. And that ball hits Gabby Sanchez. He's aboard. And up comes Brett Hayes.
Yeah, Buckner has not walked anybody, but that breaking ball just kind of hung inside and clipped Gabby on the jersey top.
Hayes popped out back in the second. He is 1 for 5 since coming up and joining the big club.
This would be a big pick-me-up for the ball club if you get a little production from the bottom of the order from some guys who aren't in there on a daily basis. Raniel Pinto doing his artistic work on the baseball.
Buckner facing probably the weakest bat in the Marlins lineup in Brett Hayes. Barden is on deck, and he's gone 3-0 against him. Hayes, who was hitting .220 in AAA. John Baker went on the disabled list. The Marlins needed a catcher, and Hayes is up. Ronnie Polino caught last night, so Hayes getting his second start ever in the big leagues. He had some big league time last year, but it was as a pinch hitter, pinch runner, and played a couple of innings at first base.
And one of his pinch hits last year was a home run.
Cantu and Sanchez in a scoreless game in the bottom of the fourth. That's way outside. So he's loaded him up, and here comes Barton, who did not have a particularly distinguished at bat back in the second, and that'll bring the pitching coach out, Mel Stottlemyre Jr.
Yeah, it was a tough at bat. Remember a misfire on the hit and run. He swung through a fastball. That's when Cody was thrown out at third, and then he eventually struck out. So trying to have a little bit better at bat here.
Buckner's day so far, not bad.
Good changeup. We've seen that pitch. We've seen the 12-6 curveball. There's another curveball. And every once in a while, they'll throw the changeup again. And every once in a while, his fastball, which has been in the upper 80s most of the day. And for him, he's had pretty good control, but a hit batter and a walk. Back-to-back hitters here in this inning.
One of those strikeouts, of course, was Barton. Bases filled with Marlins. Brian Barton, a former Diamondback farmhand. Hit him, and the Marlins are on the board. Barton takes one for the team. Cantu comes across, and it's 1-0.
Well, it's amazing. The first 12 batters, Buckner had just one 3-ball count. All of a sudden, the last 5 batters, he's had 3 3-ball counts, and he's hit 2 of them.
Now JJ with 2 outs. Josh, a good hitter, flied to center, had 3 home runs last year. Did not swing.
Yeah, JJ had a pretty good swing last time.
Did a nice job of checking his swing there. We saw Gabby. That's Hayes. Barton's at first. That's off of JJ's foot. Leaders of the game, presented by JM Lexus. RBI leaders as a pitcher, Stammen, Gallardo, and JJ, all with 4. JM Lexus, Price made us #1, 18 years running. Click jmlexus.com to find out how. Let's see if Buckner throws that slider down and in, because that's a pitch, obviously, that can always get away from a catcher. Nope, fastball. JJ stays alive, 1-2.
Well, he's closing in on 30 pitches just this inning. And we told you Josh Johnson has thrown 72 pitches. Buckner at 72 now.
Breaking ball, hit it hard. And Kelly Johnson has it. Boy, JJ had a good swing. He tracked the breaking ball and rolls out to Johnson. Marlins are on the board and lead at 1-0. By Subway.
Billy, up here, Billy.
Home with a $5 footlong. Play hard, eat fresh. Brian Barton has the only RBI in this game, and maybe a little bit of a bruise to show for it. A hit batter with the bags loaded. The Marlins are on the board. They'll take it. The best swing of that inning, Josh Johnson.
He was on that breaking ball, stayed back, hit a sharp ground ball to second. But right now he's got 1 run to work with. That's better than he had last inning.
He's at 72 pitches. Buckner at 73 as we begin the 5th inning.
Well, there's no question this game is going to be turned over to the bullpens with both pitchers and their pitch counts up.
Maxine Brickle has a question, a DH question. Interleague play starts. Who is going to be the Marlins' designated hitter in those ball games?
You know, I think in just my brief conversations that I've had with Fredi Gonzalez about that, he's going to kind of do what he's done the last few years. And there's really no one particular hitter that he'll DH. He may play Wes Helms at third, let Jorge Cantu DH one night, kind of like an off night for him, and mix it up that way.
Do the same with Gabby. Put Cantu at first,
Yeah.
Helms at third.
Yeah.
Let Gabby DH. Ball's popped up. Hayes has it. No question that Brett Hayes has really improved as a receiver. He showed a lot of confidence behind the plate.
Yeah, and I think the pitchers are pleased with the way he calls the game. He had Nate Robertson the other night. And the difference in this, he probably had Josh Johnson, if not this spring, last spring. So he's caught J.J. before.
Both Zach and Jason have a question about the center field camera angle. They like the angle that was straight on with home plate. From that angle, fans were able to see the movement of the pitches. They get a better understanding of the strike zone. It's something that we did as an experiment on the last homestand. On this homestand, our center field camera is back in its old spot. But I think it's something that we're going to continue to play with. And I think we may move that camera around a little bit more and try to get a cleaner look down the barrel of the strike zone, so to speak. Had a lot of emails on it, and I would say about 70% of the emails liked that new look, but it's something we'll work on and try to refine.
Number 2, second baseman Kelly Johnson.
Billy Buckner with a base hit to center field. You can see the Diamondbacks bullpen starting to loosen up.
Josh Buckner's 6th major league hit.
Here's Kelly Johnson. Ugla. Barden. Nice double play. And a quick pitch inning for Josh Johnson. Importantly. Marlins up 1-0.
On the first pitch, good two-seam fastball, down, scoop, feed, throw. Boy, one pitch, got 2 outs, even after the base hit by the pitcher, Buckner. A checkers double play came in handy.
9-pitch inning. That's nice for Josh. We check in with Allison. Allison?
Hello, guys. I'm here with a great group of fans. It is the Red Hat Ladies of Century Village in Pembroke Pines. I'm here with Marie Shatlin, who is the queen of the Red Hat Ladies, and I love this organization because it is all about getting women together, going out and having a good time. Right, Marie?
That is correct. We're here. We have raised our children. Now it is our time to go out and have some fun.
Wear some purple. The red hats. Outfits may not match, but it doesn't matter, right?
Right. Because it's based on a poem by Jenny Joseph who said, warning, when I grow old, I'm going to wear a red hat and a purple dress because they don't go together and they don't suit me. So therefore, and I'm going to learn how to spit. I'm going to sit on the ground when I'm tired. In other words, I'm going to do all the things I couldn't do when I was raising my children.
Out here at a Marlins game today, and I know we have a few baseball fans. Lewis, you're from New York, so...
I'm from New York. I'm originally a New York Yankee fan, but I'm living in Florida, so now I'm a Marlins fan. Rah, rah for the Marlins!
And Ida, you've always been a Marlins fan, right?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
And what do we think of the game here today? Great way to spend a Tuesday afternoon, right?
Perfect way to spend it, yes, with the Red Hatters, and today's my birthday.
It is your birthday. Happy birthday.
Aida.
Aida. And it's 86?
86. Oh, my God, the world will know it.
Well, happy birthday, and ladies, it is so wonderful to have you out. I want to know how you get to be a queen, though.
I was the one who went online and set it up. That's it. I waited for someone else, and nothing was happening. They weren't moving. I said, you know, Marie, you got to do this yourself, and I did. We started with 14 ladies, and we are now over 100.
Well, Marie, you've done a great job. Thank you so much for chatting with me. From the ladies, we'll go up to the guys.
All right, thank you, Allison.
Hey, I like, you and I wore the purple shirts. I have a lot more in common with them than you do in the age group, but we have purple on. We could fit.
You have a red hat at home?
Somewhere I probably do.
Cameron Maben is up. He is 0 for 2. And breaking ball from Buckner misses inside. Buckner and Josh Johnson. It doesn't have the same marquee value as Josh Johnson, Johan Santana. But it's kind of the same result, Tommy. It was a 1-1 duel between JJ and Santana. Neither figured in the decision in a 2-1 Marlin win. High chopper. Maben is out. That's a heck of a play by Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, as you're waiting for that ball to come down, Reynolds is processing, do I field this with my glove hand or do I field it barehanded? And then all of a sudden it clicks in that it's Cameron Maben, the runner. Right about now, he's saying, I better barehand this ball, which he does, and then uncorks a strong throw to just get Cameron. So that's a very good play.
Watch the concentration on Fox Vision. It's one of the areas that the Diamondbacks are hoping that Reynolds can take the next step, and that's his defense.
And how he caught that ball, Fox Vision was great. They're showing how he caught it in the palm of his hand. And as he got it in a position to throw, brought it across four-seam up near the fingertips to make the good throw.
Last year, Reynolds made 24 errors in 155 games. In 2008, he made 35 errors at third base. He can make the spectacular play, but at times he has struggled defensively. Very gifted, and they hope that as he gets a little more experience, that the defense gets better. He's 26. He is Mark Reynolds. Ugla has singled and struck out. Dan drives it to left field. Back goes Jackson to the wall. Looks up and it's off the wall. That ball did not sound off the bat like Ugla really got it. But it is a double. Here comes Cantu.
It didn't have that long ball sound that would have been number 10 on the year for Dan Ugla, but it's his 8th double, his second hit today. Either may have gotten in on him, he may have gotten it on the end of the bat a little bit, but he launched it high enough over the head of Connor Jackson that he gets himself in scoring position. Kind of shows you the power that Dan Uggla has. Even not hitting the ball all that sharply, he hits it off the wall.
Cantu has lined out and singled.
Here are those situations that Jorge Cantu has thrived in. Hitting .415 coming into this game with runners in scoring position.
Leads the Marlins with 31 RBIs. 2 hits last night. Has hit the ball hard twice today. Buckner staying with his breaking ball. A work in progress. In the dirt, Snyder knocks it down.
I tell you, Raynel Pinto made some nice progress in his outing last night.
I talked to Dan Meyer as well.
Two good innings about that. And Dan Meyer with a good inning.
And Meyer said that's the best slider he's thrown in about a month. He's really worked on his mechanics and his side sessions.
Well, we talked about that. Pinto got a big strikeout using his slider. Struck out the left-handed hitting Adam LaRoche.
2-2. Now the Marlins had to go to the lefties because the game dictated with the Marlins behind, and Pinto with his 2 innings.
If they can both pitch consistently that way, then all of a sudden it gives Fredi Gonzalez a little more ammunition in the bullpen.
Counts 2-2. Fastball, Cantu, left field. That's deep. Jackson goes back to the wall. Off the wall. Uggla's going to score. Jorge Cantu drives in another with 2 outs.
The man thrives in those positions. Put Jorge Cantu up there with a man in scoring position, and he gives you a solid at-bat. 12th double, gets the fastball, sends it off the wall, and sends Uggla to the plate.
And that brings Cody Ross up with Cantu in scoring position. Diamondbacks bullpen is starting to scramble. There's a strike. Look at where the ball hit.
Yeah, oh. Billy misplayed it. Connor Jackson couldn't get there, but Billy may have misplayed it.
At least Billy kept it in front of him. Ross is singled and struck out. Chopper, Reynolds on the move in time to get Ross, but the Marlins with a couple of 2-out doubles. Uggla and Cantu bounce him off the left field wall, and it's 2-0.
Marlins Baseball está disponible en español oprimiendo el botón del zap.
Press the zap button on your remote.
Diamondbacks.
There they are, Raul and Cookie.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, Richie, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
We're doing great.
Hey, is there a guy you'd rather have up with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position than Jorge Cantu?
He's been amazing in that role ever since he's been here with the Marlins. He's, as we've mentioned it many times, he has been the most consistent, I think, collectively. He hasn't been one of those hitters that goes into a prolonged slump, and he always knows what to do. When there's men on base, he changes his approach to make sure that run comes in, or he does the best thing he can at the moment to get the run in.
Cookie, I know you've talked about it a lot over on your telecast, but we have to ask you, you've been around this game a long time, your assessment of the Hanley Ramirez situation from last night.
Well, I think and I believe very strongly that Fredi Gonzalez did the right thing. I think that you have to show those teammates that you got to hustle all the time, especially him being the greatest player that we have here in this ball club. And I think the action is well taken. I think he has to show the rest of the club that he's not going to permit that. And if we go to different situations like Charlie Manuel, I believe did the same thing with Rawlings when in Philadelphia he didn't run down on the line, and then until he apologizes to him and the teammates, then he got back into the lineup. And I remember another one, Tommy, that maybe you do too, Hill Hodges. And Cleon Jones in the outfield let the ball go through and when walking to get it. And then he got out of the dugout, called time, and walked all the way to left field and got him out of the ball game.
There's a ground ball to second. Ugla tosses over to first. Well, I think the tone that Freddie struck at the end of his press conference was that he had his talk with Hanley and told him he felt that Hanley needed to talk with his teammates, and left it at that. And Freddie was hopeful when someone asked him, what's your gut feeling on how this is going to turn out, positive or negative? Freddie said 95-5 that he felt that this would turn into a positive. He said maybe not immediately, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe this week. But he is hopeful, Freddie is that Hanley will indeed address his teammates at some point.
I think that the best thing is that they're going to go on the road right after this ball game, and on the road, you know, maybe he gets back to the lineup, maybe he apologizes to his teammates, and everything is forgotten. And like you said, I think that will turn into a positive thing instead of a negative.
That's a good point, Cookie, because on the road the team is a little more together. You don't have guys going back with their families. Everybody's together in that road clubhouse. It's a little different story, so that's a good point.
All right, guys, have a good show.
You too, guys.
Okay. And have a safe trip, guys.
Thank you, Raul.
Bueno.
1-2 pitch to Upton. JJ misses outside. Josh Johnson has just hit 90 pitches. The Marlins have a 2-0 lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Young Billy Buckner has pitched well for Arizona. No swing on the check swing, says Laz Diaz.
Last time out, JJ in that game against the Mets threw 95 pitches. His season high is 117 pitches against San Diego.
That would be strike 3 called. Upton slams his helmet down, and Josh Johnson goes 1-2-3. 11 pitches this inning, 9 pitches last inning, and a 2-0 lead. All right. Vote now. Actually, what do you think? Catch or no catch, Tommy?
I say catch.
I go no catch. Oh! Did he get the ball, though?
Oh, no, he didn't catch it.
It's Buddy, who ended up with a baseball. That's our Coors Light freeze cam. I'll have to work on the info on that one. I'm not sure. I mean, if it goes through your hands, you got to try to pick it up. Saul Rivera, whom the Marlins saw an awful lot of with the Washington Nationals, is in, and he bounces one up there to Gabby Sanchez.
They've made a couple of other changes. Mark Reynolds has moved over to first. You have to wonder if that pitch, that slider that was down and in and hit Adam LaRoche, you have to wonder if that has gotten him out of this game. It would be the only reason to me, because you wouldn't want to take his left-handed bat out of the game.
Tony Abreu is at third base. Abreu got the start last night in the Diamondbacks' 5-1 win. And Gabby takes a strike.
Yeah, Rivera just acquired from the Indians organization yesterday.
Gabby, and then Brett Hayes and Brian Barden, scheduled hitters here in the sixth, and that's up, and Rivera walks. Gabby Sanchez has been on base all 3 times in this game. Jiffy Lube Fiesta Friday on the 28th of May at 7:10. Marlins and Phillies get the 4 for $54, the all-you-can-eat seats. Play Billy Bingo. 2,500 winners will get a Cody Ross bobblehead courtesy of Geico. 1-877-MARLINS or visit marlins.com. Now Hayes, not really the part of the lineup where you would automatically sacrifice, because you've got Barden, the 8-hitter, and then the pitcher spot with JJ up.
We've already seen one failed hit-and-run attempt down near this part of the order. I wouldn't totally rule it out in this case.
But you also need a pitcher that's around the plate and throwing strikes to do that.
Hard to do with a guy who just comes into the game and walks the first batter he faces.
But we talked about the Diamondbacks and the issues that they have, and bullpen is problem number 1. It's a team that can score runs. They do have some talent in their starting rotation. And Rivera right now struggling with control. He's gone 3-1 on Hayes, who has walked and popped out. Down low. Hayes is aboard. Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men, Mustache and Beard. 2-out rally for the Marlins. Dan Ugla off the wall. Jorge Cantu. Billy almost caught that one. That drove in Ugla.
Jorge Cantu right now, Rich, is 4th in the league with a .429 batting average, runners in scoring position.
Ugla and Cantu giving the Marlins the edge. You two can keep your edge with Just for Men, Mustache and Beard.
Ahead of Cantu, Andre Ethier, Jason Hayward, and Ryan Braun. That's it.
Barden goes after the first pitch and shoots it up into the seats. You know, J.J. is a good enough hitter that you wouldn't rule out a sacrifice bunt here.
I agree with you. It didn't look like Barton was sacrificing there, and I understand that too. But generally, especially against a guy who's not overpowering or a nasty left-hander, generally J.J. is going to make contact.
Because you would think the Diamondbacks probably bring the infield in.
This is a situation, though, a couple of men on with nobody out. You'd love to at least get one run out of this.
Counts 0-2. Sanchez and Hayes have walked here in the 6th. Billy Buckner went 5 innings and pitched pretty well. Just getting called up from AAA Reno. But that's a great road trip in the Pacific Coast League. A stop in Reno and a stop in Las Vegas. Little ground ball. And gets into right field. Here comes Sanchez. He's going to score. And Barton comes through. It's 3-0.
Yeah, you talk about just sneaking one through, and that's what Brian Barton did on a slider that stayed inside. They're playing for a double play, so the second baseman, Kelly Johnson, well up the middle. He couldn't quite get to this. Good jump by Gabby. Looks over his shoulder, then picks up Joe Espada and is able to come in and score.
And now J.J. can bunt. As Tommy pointed out, Rivera was just acquired from Cleveland. And so Abreu and Rivera making sure that everybody's on the same page in terms of the bunt coverage. And you've got Reynolds, normally a third baseman, over at first. He has played some first in his career.
Yeah, you have a lot of unfamiliarity out there. Did I get that out right?
Yeah,
sort of.
Just under the wire.
Yeah, sort of.
It's a tough word to say.
You knew what I meant, though. You also have a situation where, with everybody moving on that infield, the way Josh can make contact, you might wipe the butt off and let him swing one time. Let him try to chop one in the ground, maybe find a hole in that infield.
There are some pitchers that have the option, if they square and see the infield move dramatically, there are some pitchers that have the option to pull back and try to slash it through the infield.
I would think J.J. is one of those.
He takes up. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. A run across. Barton and Hayes out there. And nobody out. Top of the order, Chris Coghlan waits on deck. J.J. gets it down, and Abreu picks it up and throws him out.
Boy, a thing of beauty. You could not have bunted that ball more perfectly. One of the things you try to do in that situation, make the third baseman field the ball. That opens up the bag at third. And the only play Abreu had was to first base with the second baseman covering.
And so it's up to Coghlan now to try to make this pay off. And as we expected, the Diamondbacks infield is in with runners at second and at third. Coghlan is 0 for 3. He's flied out and bounced out twice. His first at bat against Saul Rivera. Ground ball sharply hit. Runner coming home. Here's the throw. Got him. Hayes trying to get around the tag. He was moving on first contact. Snyder tags him out. And Kelly Johnson makes a nice pickup and throw.
Not a good swing by Cogs right there. He's trying to maybe get something to lift, get it in the air. Rolls over on the ground ball. Good play by Kelly Johnson. Good tag by Snyder. And you're right, with Hayes going on contact, that's a set play with one down. You try to get that run in. You try to force the other team to make a good throw. And there's the tag by Snyder.
It's a little closer play than it looked like in real time. But Snyder did get the tag on just as Hayes slid by. Maben, runners at the corners. Maben drives at the left center field. That's hit well. Back goes Jackson to the wall. Gone! 3-run shot. Cameron Maben. And the Marlins crack it open.
He hit the first pitch. I didn't have a chance to get it out and talk about the big base hit he got in the first inning against John Maine the other night in that Mets series. With 2 out, it looked like Maine, who had no control, was going to get out of that inning, giving up just the 1 run. Cameron Maben came through with a bigger 2-out base hit right there. A 3-run blast.
Douglas swings and misses.
You know the power is there. And Cameron Maben gave us a little display on that swing. Keep in mind, he's 23. The power usually comes last, but you know it's there.
So Maben has given the Fish a 6-0 lead. Douglas got 2 hits. Ugla drives it. Left field. Go ball. Gone. His name is Dan Ugla.
Oh, he loves it. Doing it against his former team. His 3rd hit. Daniel Ugla with a single, a double, and a home run this afternoon.
Maben and Ugla go back to back.
Both hitting sliders that appeared to just back up in that happy zone.
Cantu pulls it foul. That's a base hit. And the Marlins are lighting up a guy that they've seen an awful lot of in Saul Rivera. And as we pointed out last night, the soft spot of the Diamondbacks, their bullpen, they couldn't get there last night because Edwin Jackson went 8 innings.
Well, even their closer, Chad Balls, with an ERA over 7. Second time in this homestand, the Marlins have gone back-to-back. They did it the other night against the New York Mets. The other night it was Chris Coughlin and Gabby Sanchez.
To Cody. Remember, the inning opened with walks to Gabby Sanchez and Brett Hayes. 3-0. It's been a real struggle for Rivera. Let's see what Cody gets on 3-1. Diving stop, Drew. That's a heck of a play by the Diamondback shortstop, Stephen Drew. But the Marlins come up with a big inning. Cameron Maybin, a 3-run shot. That was the big blow. The frosting on the cake. A Dan Uggla shot. Two home run hitters. Cameron Maybin going out to left. Maybin second. And Dan Uggla, his 10th. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Guys, if you talk to Uggla, he'll tell you he doesn't get any more amped up to play the team that drafted him 11th overall in 2001. The Diamondbacks then just kind of let him linger in the minor leagues before the Marlins picked him up in the Rule 5 draft. But if you look at his numbers, they might say otherwise. Today's home run against the Diamondbacks is his 9th against his former team. That's more against any other team outside of the NLE. So you got to imagine when you send a shot out of the park like he does, it's got to feel a little bit sweeter coming against a team that didn't really give you a shot, guys.
That's a good point and great documentation for something that we've said ever since Uggla got to the big leagues in 06. And Tommy, when we look back the other night at Brian Barden's numbers, when he was in the Diamondback system, Barden had terrific numbers and never really got a sniff at the big leagues.
So a little bittersweet with his hit-by-pitch RBI and his single and RBI.
And remember when Barden joined the club, we asked Uggla if he and Barden were teammates, and Uggla said, well, I didn't play.
He said he was on the bench.
Uggla, after a terrific 2003, came into 2004 and was not a regular player. And that really ticked him off.
You had kind of the fair-haired guys like a Mark Reynolds
or Stephen Drew,
who he came up with.
And certainly the Diamondbacks had talent and other good players. And that's, as we talked about, the 2005 that Uggla had. You would think at Double-A, a guy that had that type of year, they would put him on the 40-man roster, and they didn't. And Uggla has gone off since. In fact, there's a note in the Diamondbacks notes about Mark Reynolds,
who, by the way, was a 16th round pick.
And Reynolds has been a terrific player.
Yes, he has.
And has got 99 home runs. His next home run will be a significant one. There's a swing and a miss.
How good has JJ gotten since that double play that picked him up in the 5th?
Mark Reynolds, if he hits a home run soon, he's got 15 more games to do it. Will be the third fastest third baseman in Major League history to get to 100 home runs. Bob Horner first, Eddie Matthews, Troy Gloss, Mike Schmidt. Schmidt did it in 472. This is 456. And I bring that up because Dan Uggla is the fastest second baseman in Major League history to get to 100 home runs. Johnson misses inside. Marlins love to get JJ through this 7th inning. Big man had a lot of pitches early. This will be 103.
Well, where he really helped himself out, he had that double play in the 5th. That was a 9-pitch inning. He had 11 pitches and then 11 again so far. So that's where he's really picked things up. The long inning, the 3rd inning where he had to throw 24.
1-2. Pumps it by him. JJ finishes the 7th. 1, 2, 3. Go the Diamondbacks. He has set down 9 in a row. And the Marlins have a 7-0 lead. An inspired day for the Marlins.
Oh, it sure has. How about the inspiring pitching of Josh Johnson? A 9-strikeout performance. He struck out the side in his last inning of work. Billy Buckner was tough early on. Marlins had a little trouble with him, but then he got wild. He had trouble. Hits Brian Barton with the bases loaded. The Marlins pick up a run. And then all of a sudden, the long ball comes out, back-to-back doubles. And then a little sneaker, a little ball that squeaked through. Then the real long ball came out from Cameron Maben. A 3-run homer from Mabes. And then that was followed by Dan Uggla's 10th home run of the year. Back-to-back home runs in that 6th inning. The Marlins scored 5 times in the 6th.
So 7 runs on 10 hits. And Gabby will lead it off again. He led off the 6th inning. Juan Gutierrez is in out of the bullpen. It was Saul Rivera who pitched the 6th. Gutierrez gets the 7th. You can see his ERA. Another one of the Diamondback relievers that has had a long year already.
You know, it's not like they don't have good arms. Gutierrez can bring that fastball 92 to 95. Has a pretty good slider. But when you start talking about command, that's when you have issues.
Oh, yeah, we have emails today as well.
Yeah, we do.
On an email Tuesday afternoon. We got a little distracted when the ball started leaving the park. You had those back-to-back doubles in the 5th and the back-to-back homers in the 6th. Gabby takes a strike.
Rich and Tommy, from Ian. Has any Marlin ever hit for the cycle? And the answer is no. And Ian points out that Ugla needs a triple to do it. And he's right. Ugla a single, a double, and a homer.
And has a chance to get up again in this game. So hang in there, Ian.
Jordan from Miami wants to know, why not make Gabby a leadoff hitter? He has a good eye, makes contact, and usually makes the pitcher work. Generally, a guy like Gabby Sanchez ends up in a leadoff spot only if you don't have a guy with similar on-base skills that has some speed, or maybe a little bit less on-base percentage and does have speed.
Which would be Chris Coghlan.
Every now and then you run into a team, Oakland has done this in the past, where they don't have a traditional leadoff guy with speed. Coghlan, of course, last year had such a great on-base percentage, and he had the ability to steal a base.
And Gabby's been on base all 4 times this afternoon. A single, hit by a pitch, and a couple of walks.
Here's Brett Hayes, and he takes outside. Luis in Miami. Will there be a high wall in left field in the new ballpark? Because the 2 doubles hit by Ugla and Cantu had home run range.
I don't think so, from what I've heard.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I don't think you'll have what used to be called the teal monster or the scoreboard out and left. I think the dimensions will be very similar to this park, but I don't think you'll have the monstrous left wall in the left field. We'll double check, but I think the last renderings I saw didn't have something that high.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct on that. I understand that next week we may be getting some new renderings of the ballpark. It's always fun to see the progress.
Hayes fouls it back.
You forget sometimes when a catcher to me is kind of like an umpire. When you don't talk about him, he's doing a great job handling his pitcher. And when you don't talk about an umpire, he's doing a great job behind the plate. Well, Brett Hayes has taken JJ through 7 innings, 7 terrific innings, giving up just 2 hits and striking out 9.
Chewy didn't look so good in that shot, did he? I mean, he looks...
What's a rough night? You know, day game after night game, it's tough for Chewy.
Fan balloting is underway for the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. You can help the Marlins get there. Vote online at marlins.com for your chance to win a suite for 12 and an autographed All-Star poster, or vote at the stadium during any upcoming game, even if you're a Wookiee. And it's a chance to win a trip to the All-Star Game. Our crack staff just informed us that they are efforting in the truck to capture the latest live shot down at the new ballpark site and give everybody a look at what the new ballpark looks like right now. So they're working on it. We have the technology. We can rebuild him, and we will get you that shot. 0-1 coming. Barden sends it to right field. It's pretty well. Upton goes back, and he makes the catch. Barden, of course, had a big hit in the 6th inning, an RBI single. That came before the gun show, before Cameron Maben and Dan Ugla flexed their muscles and went back-to-back with home runs. Here's Wes Helms. And I don't think it was any surprise to see that this morning, after Hanley Ramirez addressed the media and had some sharp things to say about not only his manager but also his teammates, that Wes Helms spoke out. And Helms echoed the thoughts of Freddie Gonzalez when he said that in his mind, Hanley needed to apologize to the team. And I think that was before anybody read any of the comments that Hanley made today. And one of those comments that probably won't sit well with his teammates when they read it is that when asked if he thought he should apologize, Hanley said for what, and it was pointed out for not going hard after that ball in left field. Hanley said, we got a lot of people dogging it after ground balls, and they don't apologize. And I don't know that that'll sit that well in the clubhouse.
That's just taking him further down.
Helms fouls it off. But again, the hope is, and I think Cookie Rojas made a good point, that it's a good time to go on a road trip because obviously the team flies together, stays together. The hope is that Hanley is able to talk to his teammates. Maybe a few of the teammates reach out to Hanley and figure out a way to cross that bridge.
And it's a short bridge getting to Busch Stadium, just across the street from the team hotel.
That's right.
No bridge required.
St. Louis Hilton. Helms swings and misses. And Gutierrez gets out of the inning, striking out Wes Helms. 7-0 Fish. Here comes Sanchez. Jorge Cantu across the diamond. He's now at first base. Wes Helms is in. Helms is at third. And out of the bullpen for the Fish comes Brian Sanchez.
And there's a look at Brian Sanchez, who's gotten himself a little groove now after that late spring training injury. So back healthy with the hamstring. Good job in his 8 outings so far. Mixes up pitches very well.
Chris Snyder, the veteran catcher for the Diamondbacks, takes a strike. Snyder out of the University of Houston, his 7th year in the big leagues. As Tommy pointed out, a back injury last year. He was out for 3 months. But he's one of the better defensive catchers. Very steady, not a spectacular guy like the guy we're going to see in St. Louis and Yadier Molina. Very steady, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, doesn't make a lot of throwing errors. It's Snyder, then the 9 spot, and then Kelly Johnson. Augie Ojeda has pulled in on deck. 2-2.
Good fastball. Every once in a while, Brian can surprise a hitter, I think, with his fastball up in that area. He has that splitter change. He has a couple of breaking balls.
When you think about the way this day has gone, Tommy, last night the Marlins obviously were overmatched by Edwin Jackson. He struck out 12. The Marlins had just 1 run and 6 hits. Then they come into this game and they're facing Billy Buckner. And in the first 3 innings, Buckner had shut him out. And Josh Johnson's pitch count was right around 60 after 3 innings. So you had the sense that the Marlins couldn't hit Buckner, they couldn't hit Jackson, and JJ wasn't going to be around long. But it changed quickly. Josh all of a sudden had some quick pitch innings and ended up going 7. And the Marlins, of course, got to Billy Buckner. Our Geico quote of the night. Everybody said this about him last night, that he was effectively wild, and Edwin Jackson agreed. I was kind of effectively wild. That's probably the best way to put it.
You know, it's one of those things. I don't know if he intentionally was effectively wild, but yeah, it certainly worked.
Jim Presley was talking about it today as the hitting coach from his perspective, as Augie Ojeda stands in. Oh, Wally Bell just took one.
Good job by Wally back there today. Yeah, he had a nice game at first base with Dave Collins mic'd up last night. He had some fun with Wally.
And the Marlins, and there goes Bell down in the runway. And let's hope that Wally is okay. And that's not the runway towards the umpire's clubhouse. The umpire's clubhouse is on the other side, but Bell getting some attention from Sean Cunningham and some help from Laz Diaz. It's one of the toughest things for home plate umpires who wear the chest protector inside the shirt, is on a pitch like that, being exposed to a foul tip.
Look at Dave Collins. See, they kind of bonded last night, and he's over there to offer Wally a cold drink.
It looks like Wally's okay. It looks like right now it's just an equipment issue. Yeah, see, Wally didn't want to have to untuck the shirt and do that out in public. So that's a courtesy.
It's a professional move.
Yes, it is. All right, here's the look. When a catcher is set up, and we talked to some umpires about this year. When a catcher is set up outside and the pitch comes inside, the catcher reaches, and there's no barrier between.
And the umpire's really exposed.
There's no barrier between a foul tip. See the reach?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that right there.
And from an umpire's perspective, it's hard because you don't want to give up the inside of the plate when you're calling balls and strikes. And so to shift out with the catcher, sometimes it can throw off an umpire's line of sight and how he calls balls and strikes. It's a point of emphasis with umpires this year that they can at times, if they feel it's in their best interest in terms of safety, shift out with that catcher. They just have to shift the strike zone as they move, which isn't easy.
And speaking of the strike zone, all of a sudden Brian Sanchez having a little trouble finding it.
Augie Ojeda, who was kind of the Diamondbacks version, as Uggla charges hard after that one and ball in the seats. He's kind of the Diamondbacks version of Alfredo Amezaga, a versatile middle infielder. Guy that has really had to fight tooth and nail to stay in the big leagues. Played at the University of Tennessee, Southern California guy. Spent 4 years up and down with the Cubs. This is his 4th year with Arizona. Hits that ball to right field. Ross, just shy of the track, makes the catch.
Number 2, second baseman, Kelly Johnson.
Here comes Kelly Johnson. tomorrow the Marlins, actually tonight the Marlins will be in St. Louis, but tomorrow they're going to face a very good left-hander, Jaime Garcia. And it will be Anibal Sanchez who gets the start.
Yeah, Sanchez with a nice outing, a win against the Mets last time out. 7 innings, 4 hits, and 2 runs. So he'll be matched up against the likes of Albert Pujols, who had 3 hits last night. Ryan Ludwig's been hitting the ball well. Matt Holliday. And a guy who gets big hit after big hit for him, Yadier Molina.
Just the mere mention of the name Molina strikes fear in the hearts of many Marlin fans. Tommy, we'll get in time to go to the game tonight. The Nationals and the Cardinals are playing tonight. We could go see Chris Carpenter play.
Walk right across the street.
The hotel is right next to the ballpark.
Chris Carpenter and John Lemon.
We could go bug Dan McLaughlin and Al Hrabowski. Go say hi to.
We would
to Carp and Dibble. Yeah, I'm in. Here's the 1-2. Fly ball down that right field side. It's going to land in the
have to stop in and say hi to Mike Shannon.
All right, some news and notes from around baseball. Jimmy is back. Jimmy Rollins returns after missing 29 games. Albert Pujols, as Tommy pointed out, Marlins have a date with him tomorrow. And we apologize again to the Red Sox fan who was angry that we even brought up the fact that the Yankees came back and won that game last night.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting in that lineup last night with Jimmy Rollins hitting third, but Chase Utley didn't play. Polanco played second base, and Greg Dobbs was in at third. So I'd be curious to see what Charlie does when Utley's in the lineup. He usually hits third. He had Victorino leading off the game last night.
Sanchez with a nasty changeup.
Yeah, that's that change, and he has that split grip. It dives downward, and there it goes. Yeah, Victorino did a great job hitting that leadoff spot in the absence of Jimmy Rollins.
No, many people have said that the Phillies would be better off moving Rollins out of that leadoff spot because he does not have such a high on-base percentage. Sanchez throws a strike to Connor Jackson. Breaking ball pulled foul. Jerry from Davie wants to know, did you see the stat in the Wall Street Journal today regarding Josh Johnson? He's the leader of pitchers with the lowest percentage of outings, allowing 5 or more earned runs since 2006. Johnson, Johan Santana, Chad Billingsley are 1, 2, and 3.
I did not know the Wall Street Journal had a sports section.
It does. It has added sports. And they do have some fascinating articles every now and then.
That's good stuff.
I didn't hit. I was too engrossed in the local papers after last night's game. The Herald, the Sun Sentinel, and the Palm Beach Post. Fox Tracks, brought to you by Toyota. That's amazing that pitch shows up as a strike. It's the front of the plate where it's measured. In right, Ross is there. And Sanchez comes in and works a scoreless 8th inning. 7-0 Fish. strikeouts, 2 walks. Did not give up a run. He was outstanding. Our Jaguar performer of the game.
I think the way just that J.J. was able to regroup when that pitch count got up a little high after 3 innings. And then all of a sudden, I mean, the 4th inning, a couple of strikeouts, he hit a batter. They had that double play in the 5th. Another low pitch inning in the 6th and the 7th. And he finished the 7th inning striking out 3 in a row.
All right, Tommy, we told you our crack staff was trying to get the latest shot of the ballpark from the webcam, and here we go. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Look at that. You can see the seating bowl all taking shape. That runs, that rail of the super columns that will hold the roof track, that runs down the third base line with the seats that are going to bend around. How cool is that? Coughlin an 0 for 4 day. He has scored a run. He's got himself a base hit. Chris pulls it into right field.
Yeah, had a couple of hits last night, a single and a double. Picks one up right there. Carlos Rosa, the new pitcher for Arizona.
Here is Maben. So Rivera, Gutierrez, and now Rosa.
Hey, we're going to get that Dan Uggla appearance. Uggla with a single, a double, and a home run.
Needs a triple. How about a Coors Light cold hard blast appearance? This was Maben. First pitch of the at-bat. He was sitting on breaking ball, and he punished it. 3-run homer. That was the big inning for the Marlins. 5 runs in that 6th. And so Uggla, who is a triple shy of the cycle. Heard Wally Bell bark no. Uggla does not have a triple this season.
He's hit a few. You know, his rookie season he had 7. Just 1 each the last couple of years.
This is a great ballpark for triples. Just missed. Maben is aboard. Another email, Tommy. This is from Dave in Walnut Creek, California. He wants to see the freeze cam shot again. And if you remember, our freeze cam was this fan. Catch or no catch? Freeze it.
I said catch.
I said no way.
I know.
And here was the finish. And Dave's email is this. The bad news is no catch. The good news is 2 manatee candidates identified.
So we're getting emails all the way from Walnut Creek. Huh?
Walnut Creek, California.
Wow, that's John Baker territory.
It is. That's my territory. That's East Bay. There's the day that Uggla has had, 3 for 4. Needs a triple for this cycle. Marlins have thrown 4 no-hitters in their history, but do not have a cycle. There it is.
Look at that, all those games. Dan Uggla on this homestand, by the way, 6 for 18 with 4 home runs. The struggles continue, by the way, for the Diamondbacks and their bullpen. What a pitcher Mel Sr. was, by the way. There's Clay Hensley. He'll probably have the 9th inning.
Chance to get, it's amazing how it works. 3 days ago, it was like, boy, the Marlins can't use Hesley because he's been worked too much. And now you get in a game like this.
You need to get him an inning.
You need to get him an inning.
It goes that way.
Keep him sharp, but just an inning. 2-0 to Ugla. All right, it's 3-0. It's a 7-0 game with runners first and second. Is it gamesmanship or poor? I mean, in the unwritten rules of baseball, can he take a hack here at 3-0?
Well, you got a guy who can't find the strike zone, though, so I would say take anyway.
All right. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when you got a big lead and they say shut down the running game, do you also shut down 3-0 fastballs?
I think so, yeah. Late in a game like this, yeah.
All right. Well, Ugg's going to have a hack if it's close here. And it's not close. He takes the walk. So no cycle, but a walk for Ugla, something that he continues to do more of as his career progresses. For Ugla now, 18 walks. And here's Cantu with the bags loaded and a struggling Carlos Rosa out on the mound. We've had emails today from as far as Manchester, England. Michael in Jensen Beach wants to know if the Marlins are still doing the game countdown in left field and how many games are left. Cantu fouls it back. Why, yes, they are. See the ball kind of stuck in the screen.
Foul ball got the screen right behind home plate. Look at that.
One coming. Swing and a miss. The game countdown in left field is down to 140. Here's a 1-2. That one is fouled back. 140, the game countdown is down to.
There you go. I love there's a section just down below us, a little bit to the right. And they have that Jorge Cantu cheer. It's hip, hip, Jorge. Hip, hip, Jorge. Probably have that same cheer, which I think they do at Yankee Stadium. Jorge Posada.
2-2 to Cantu. Yeah, Michael is nominating people to pull down the sign. And they're going to have to find 140 more people over the next season and a half. Cantu, a screamer. Abreu comes up with it, gets the out there. That's a self-defense play by Tony Abreu at third. And Cantu couldn't hit it much harder.
Yeah, there's just no justice after a swing like that. On the ball, crushes it. Abreu just kind of turns and then picks it, goes the home plate route. Look at his head. Look where his head is.
Ole.
He's not even looking.
Hip, hip, ole.
Hip, hip, ole. And that's what he did. Wow.
So Cody is up. Bags are still loaded. Esmerling Vasquez in the Diamondbacks bullpen. He's got an ERA of 5.5. Justin in West Palm Beach. Do you guys think that Josh Johnson has a chance to make the All-Star team again this year?
Absolutely.
What other Marlins would be All-Star candidates?
Well, certainly Hanley Ramirez if he gets back in the lineup.
Hanley, of course, has been voted into the All-Star lineup, both 2008 and 2009.
Dan Ugla. certainly has presented a strong case.
Cody punches one into center field. Maben will score. Uggla's held. And Ross delivers an RBI single. I think that's a case there, Tommy. We were talking about when do you stop running and when do you stop swinging at 3-0 pitches. If this is a close ball game, Uggla probably gets sent to the plate.
Yeah, but you, at this point, kind of go base to base, and you don't want to rub it in anybody's face. And Joe Espada realizing that. Cody Ross with a nice swing.
Yeah, Joe Espada, I'm sure his right arm was twitching. You know he wanted to send him. Here's Brian Peterson. He pinch hits and pops it foul.
Pinch hitting for the pitcher. Pitcher spot moved into the number 6 spot in the lineup.
Rosa runs that one away from Peterson. Bags are still loaded. A run is across, an 8-0 Marlins lead. Uggla, big day, 3 hits and a homer. Cantu, big day, 3 hits, RBI double. Cody, 2 hits with an RBI. And, of course, Cameron Maben with a 3-run homer. Josh Johnson, 7 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball with 9 strikeouts. And on a morning where Fredi Gonzalez met with his shortstop, met with the press, for the Marlins to come out and give this kind of performance against the Diamondbacks. Rosa's slider misses inside. Hanley and the Marlins will head to St. Louis immediately following this ball game. I'm told, Tommy, we're scheduled in about 9 o'clock, so if we wanted to go catch the last few innings.
Yeah, but that's 8 o'clock St. Louis time.
Now you got me.
Did you factor that in?
You just got me really confused. I think we're doing 9 Central time.
Okay.
That's been confirmed by our crack staff.
They're on top of it.
Yes, they are. They have their own section in the plane. Coaches, players, announcers,
crack staff.
Crack staff. Ground ball. Reynolds fires home and gets an out there. Fans are saying that Snyder lifted his foot off the plate. Well, the Diamondbacks get the out at home plate, and Brett Hayes is coming up.
Well, a couple of well-hit balls, unfortunately, have not produced any runs.
Continuing our emails, Sasha in St. Petersburg wants to know, wondering if the Marlins have any plans for an Old Timers Day. You need some old timers, right? I mean, are the Marlin old timers really old timers? This is the 18th season of Marlins baseball.
Well, you could certainly put together a group.
I don't think they like being called old timers,
but you have to maybe wait a little bit. But yeah, you could put together.
I don't think CJ or Alex would like being called old timers yet. Now, our crack staff may have a few old timers.
We'll have to ask Niner about that old timer.
No, Niner does.
We'll refer to Niner as an old timer. See what he says.
No, see, you do that. You try that, and let me know how it goes. He'll beat you down with his Iron Man watch. Third reliever to work for the Diamondbacks. Hayes pops it up. Johnson and Reynolds. It's Johnson who makes the catch. The Marlins will have to settle for an add-on run. Clay Hensley coming in to finish it off.
está disponible en español vía Zap y es presentado por KFC.
Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Allison Williams, John Solsar, our producer, Jim Hawley, our generally well-liked director, Ken Lee, critically acclaimed graphics coordinator. 8-0. Clay Hensley needs a little work, so a good spot to come in. The Marlins' best reliever in the middle. Leo Nunez had a terrific year as well, but look at Hensley's numbers. This is a guy who spent the tail end of last year in the starting rotation at AAA for the Marlins after having that labrum surgery after the 07 season. And he won a role with the Marlins as a starting pitcher in the spring and has adapted nicely to a variety of roles in the bullpen.
It's actually, if you think about it, very interesting. He won the role, as you pointed out, in the spring to start. And then right at the end of spring training, the Marlins acquired Nate Robertson. Then he won the role right now as the 8th inning guy to set up Leo Nunez with the way he's pitched. There was a time he was kind of used in middle of games for a few more innings, but Freddie sees the value of using him in that 8th inning now.
Stephen Drew, Justin Upton, and Tony Abreu for the Diamondbacks. There's the changeup. Hensley really didn't have that pitch when he was a starter with the Padres. As we've told you, it was a pitch that he picked up in rehab when he was coming back. His good friend Kevin Correa showed him the grip on it, and he has mastered it. Breaking ball in the dirt. Final few emails, and we hope we've been able to get to as many as we can. A lot of them had the same subject, so we picked out the ones that dealt with the Hanley Ramirez situation and got through as many of those as we could early in the game. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Down goes Drew. We check in with Allison Williams. Allison?
Well, guys, coming up after the show on Marlins Live Post Game, we'll have a chance to recap JJ's solid outing here in his 7 innings pitch. We'll also get to talk to Cameron Maben live, who had the 3-run homer earlier, and we'll also take a look ahead. Another 2-game series, this time in St. Louis, and then the guys will make their way up to Chicago. It's all coming up next after the game on Marlins Live.
Allison, smack those guys next to you, will you?
You know what? They've been asking to get smacked about all game, so it's what, top of the 9th? I think they might be due.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's part of the Allison Williams new fan club, I think.
If there's any problems, we'll send Frank Fort down there. He's been working out all morning. Justin Upton lines into left. And so Hensley has 2 outs. Here's our final email of the night. Do you have the 10-run mercy rule video warming up? The 10-run reel. That was from Anthony. And Anthony, yes, our crack staff scurried in the back of the truck, had it loaded and locked and ready to go. But the Marlins were close. They had the bases loaded and an 8-0 lead. But the 10-run reel will have to wait for another day. We keep adding stuff here and there as we go. Tony Abreu now. He came into the ball game. We did not receive a report on Adam LaRoche, who was hit by a pitch.
Yeah, we did. You were busy with the crack staff.
Oh.
For precautionary reasons, lifted from the game.
Oh, okay. Well, for precautionary reasons, can I leave now?
Bring in Paul and young Ron.
Yeah. No, we hope that Adam is okay and back in the lineup soon for the Diamondbacks. Hensley has looked sharp here in the 9th. Good crowd for a day game. Breaking balls outside. Wally Bell wouldn't give him that one, and it's 1-2.
Chance for the Marlins to record their 2nd shutout of the year. Last time was in Philadelphia, that 2-0 win. Nate Robertson, winning pitcher.
A one-hopper, diving stop by Helms on his feet. Oh, what a way to finish it. Uncle Wes selling out, makes a diving stop, and the Marlins shut out the Diamondbacks. Clay Hensley with some help from Wes Helms. An emotional day for the Marlins. And they shut out the Diamondbacks. They split this mini 2-game series. He lost his sunglasses in the process and made a strike of a throw. Abreu thought he was safe. Las Diaz said, game over. And it's off to St. Louis and then to Chicago for the Marlins. As the Fish win here, they have a terrific homestand. They take 5 of 6 on the homestand. The sweep of the Mets, a split of the 2 games with the Diamondbacks. Josh Johnson, 7 innings of 2 hits, shutout ball. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Marooney. South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 877 Marooney. By Corona, kick back, relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy a Corona today. By